And we just spent some time talking about Kyler Murray and how the Cardinals gave him the runway to develop and grow. And they didn't do what the Colts did to Anthony Richardson or what the Panthers are doing to Bryce Young. They didn't do that. They allowed him the time and space and opportunity to go out there and play on Sunday to continue to get better. And it has put them in a position right now, while their record is only 4-4 and they're an inconsistent bunch, that they're in first place in the NFC West. And I think we mentioned this story yesterday, but I'm going to bring it up here again today because there's an important stat in here, because I think everybody is searching for something, a stat, a reason, one thing that you can tangibly hold on to as to why this team is inconsistent, or why this team can look so good for 2 weeks against the Chargers and the Dolphins, but then look as bad as they've had against the Commanders, against the Lions, just the second half against the Bills. Like, how can that happen? And ESPN wrote a story yesterday. Ben Solak, who we mentioned on the show, former colleague of mine, does fantastic work, had talked about confusing teams in the NFL and talked about the Arizona Cardinals being one of those confusing teams. And he had a statistic in there about Kyler Murray that I think answers this for us. I think this statistic gives us, we talked about blueprints earlier this week as to how this team can find success in the second half and have Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. be 1 and 2 in some order in targets on your team, and you'll win. They're 4-0 when they do that. They're 0-4 when they don't. I think I found an even better statistic to show you why this team has been so inconsistent. Kyler Murray is first in the league in EPA per dropback when pressured. So I don't want to go into a whole big explanation for everybody about what EPA is if you don't know what it is. But just know it's an advanced statistic that discusses your efficiency per play. And so what this tells us is that when there's pressure and the pressure gets to Kyler Murray, he is the best quarterback. He is the most efficient quarterback under that context. And it's got a lot to do with the magic tricks that Kyler's able to do in the pocket, the escapability, the extending of plays, turning sacks into 15-yard gains, escaping pressure and running for touchdowns, just his ability to work outside of structure. When the play breaks down, Kyler Murray thrives. When he is a chaos merchant, meaning that in those moments, he is the best. He is first in the league in EPA per dropback when pressured. When he's unpressured, when things are just calm, the pressure's holding up, you have enough time, you could make lunch, you could have a phone call with mom or dad or your sister. You could just relax, just calm, cool. It's easy. When you have to play in structure, when things are calm and you just have to read the defense and read the play, and he's 23rd in EPA per dropback. So the best when things are chaotic, one of the worst when things are calm. Can't you see why the offense is inconsistent? Because in an ideal world, let's just talk this out. In an ideal world, you don't get pressured as a quarterback. Your offensive line holds up. The protection holds, and you're able to read the defense. So in an ideal scenario, the Cardinals want Kyler Murray to be unpressured. But when he is unpressured, he is not as efficient. And so what that tells me is Kyler Murray right now, inside of structure, where most plays are going to take place in the National Football League, is inside of structure. He is struggling. He's great when stuff breaks down. He's great when stuff gets chaotic because he has that natural instinct about him that it's just feel, he reacts, boom, we're getting out here, we're doing this. He doesn't think. When he's unpressured and he has to think and he has to process and he has to go through all of his reads, it seems like he's struggling a little bit. So if you want to find an addendum to the blueprint that we put together when it comes to Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. being the top two options of this offense, Again, this team is 4-0 this year when those two guys, when you look at the box score at the end of the game, they're number 1 and number 2 in targets. This team has to find a way to get both of those guys involved and have them be consistent throughout 4 quarters. But when they do that, they have not lost this season. We're going to make an addendum to that blueprint. We're going to add to that blueprint, and we're going to say, find ways to get Kyler Murray comfortable in structure. Because I love a quarterback that can do all of the crazy things, can do the Patrick Mahomes type things, the Lamar Jackson type things, where you are able to just, you see the play and the pocket collapses and you just know it's a sack. And all of a sudden, that quarterback has escaped and is off to the races and is looking downfield and is hitting a big play. I love those. Those are momentum-changing plays. Those are back-breaking plays for a defense. Those are moments and plays in a game that if you have those, you're going to be successful. When you have a quarterback that can make those plays, that is special. That is a good thing to have. But you also have to be able to operate inside of structure. You also have to be able to take a snap, not have pressure, read your offense, and make a good throw, make a good decision. Keep your team ahead of schedule. Because more often than not, throughout the course of an entire game, more of your plays are going to happen in structure where you just have to read the defense, where you just have to see what the defense is giving you. I want those chaotic plays. I don't want to play 4 quarters of chaos. Make sense? I don't need 4 quarters of chaos. I need to excel in structure, and when the chaos happens, I need to have somebody that I believe in. We have somebody that we can believe in. I know when the play breaks down, I'm a little shocked when Kyler doesn't turn it into a massive play. And so they have to get better, and Drew Petzing has to get better at calling plays inside of structure where Kyler can just instant, boom, we're getting it out. And I think one of the pathways that they can do this is their time to throw needs to be extremely low. When you are a quarterback and you are getting the ball out quick, there's no time to think. It's boom, hike me the ball. I'm taking 3-5 steps and I'm out. I know where I'm going with it. Boom. Those types of throws are those in-structure throws that can make it feel like it's chaos for Kyler Murray. I don't have time to think. I have to get it and go. We have to get it and get it in the hands of Marvin Harrison Jr., get it in the hands of Trey McBride. And so there is a way to, inside of structure, create that chaos for Kyler Murray. And the way you do that is you can't have a lot of long developing stuff. You can't have that be the backbone of your offense. So we talked about the blueprint earlier in the week. We're adding to the blueprint here because you are not going to be able to sustain. And it's a roller coaster ride, right? In chaos, we're great. In not chaos, we're bad. In chaos, we're great. In not chaos, we're bad. And that roller coaster ride can match up very well with the season as a whole. They're 4-4. It's been a roller coaster ride. Kyler Murray as a quarterback this year has been a roller coaster ride. We just heaped all the praise on the organization for giving him the runway to develop. And he has gotten better, in my opinion, as a quarterback. And I'm not saying this as a negative, but I'm just saying we're all looking for answers. We're all trying to put together why this team is inconsistent. I think we've got the answer. Inside of structure, this team is struggling offensively. Outside of structure, he's just making stuff happen. He's doing all those highlight reel plays that you see on social media. He is doing all of those things that make Kyler Murray special. If he can just be a little bit better, if he can just be the 16th best quarterback per dropback when unpressured, be a middle-of-the-road quarterback inside of structure, that's going to allow this offense to be more consistent. That's going to allow this offense to find more flow. So when you're watching on Sunday, I want you to think about something. I want you to watch the plays where Kyler Murray has got a clean pocket, where Kyler Murray has everything the way that it's supposed to. And don't worry about EPA. Just think to yourself, did Kyler make a good decision? Was the play a good result? Just think about this while you're watching the football game. And if the answer is yes, then great. That's the path that this team needs to take. But then also watch those chaotic plays. And you'll be able to kind of compare and be like, okay, he's not doing great when It's an easy drop back and there's no pressure and he just has to find his guy. But when it's chaotic, he thrives. It's easy. It's the chaos. In chaos, you can't think. There's no time. Honestly, producer Dylan, there's no time to think right now while we're doing the radio show. You do the thinking before the show, and while you're doing the show, it all comes to you, right? I have a framework of what this topic's going to be, what this segment's going to be, and we just workshop it as it happens because we're in a chaotic environment of live radio for 2 hours. For Kyler Murray, when you're running around because the right tackle is a revolving door and you can't think about, oh, this guy's running a 5-yard in route and I got to look at the corner and see if the safety's rotating. You don't have time to think about if the safety's rotating down. There's no opportunity. It's okay. I got to go. But when you have time to think, it's like, all right, did the safety rotate? No, he stayed. There, bracket coverage over there. Okay, now I'm going to come to this read over here and see if my tight end. There's time to think. And sometimes you can overthink. Kyler Murray thrives when he doesn't overthink. So that's what this team needs to get back to. Find easy ways to get Kyler Murray involved in the offense early with quick time to throw. Don't let him have an opportunity to think. And I think this offense will start to really take off even more so than it has.